myself. I am unique and special. I am me. In the world, there is no one else exactly like me. There are persons who have some parts like me, but no one ends up exactly like me. Therefore, everything that comes out of me is
Greetings everyone, my name is Joseph Moloi from South Africa in Gauteng province. I am a lecturer in Gauteng Community Education and Training College. I've been there working in a Department of Higher Education for the past 23 years now as a lecturer. I'm a lecturer of counseling. That means I'm training the counselors, and I'm a lecturer of life skills, and again I'm a lecturer of end user computing. That means I'm teaching computer. So many concepts in there because again I'm a computer technician, so I teach the components of computer, the internet, the messages and the emails, and I'm teaching how to create the websites. And again I'm teaching another program under computer as well that is called digital computer support. And I am so proud and I love my work a lot, and above them all, I'm a counselor. I'm a born counselor. Yes, I'm doing lecturing. I'm a qualified lecturer, as I said, for the past 23 years. But as what I'm born for, I'm a counselor. And thank you very much. In the journey of self-discovery, we are going to ask the question, who am I? That is what we're going to try to answer today, the question, who am I? Trying to understand yourself better, who you are. It is very, very important in this life so that you can face life in a positive way. Any challenge that you meet on the journey of life, you will know exactly who you are. You cannot derail from yourself, truly self. You cannot derail from what you believe in. You cannot derail from what makes you to be or what you are. So it is important for self-discovery, asking the question, who am I? Who am I really? We are going to look at some few points around that. It will be the headings, and under them we're going to look at some few points. The first one, in the self-discovery, asking ourselves the question, who am I? We are going to look at self-esteem. Self-esteem. Now, the big question will be, what is self-esteem? Right. Self-esteem is all about how you feel about yourself, the confidence that you have about yourself when you are about to do something or when you are amongst the people. Not putting yourself down when you are amongst the people who have titles, amongst the people who have something that are important in life. Like, for example, those who are working better jobs, professional jobs, those who have the big houses, nice houses, while you don't have, those who are having cars, while you don't even have the driver's license. Self-esteem is trusting yourself even amongst those people. Is believing in yourself of who you are even if the people put you down. Self-esteem is all about trust. Trusting yourself, believing in yourself, no matter what. And whenever you believe on yourself, no matter what, you will never ever put other people down in any circumstances. No matter who they are, whether you think or you feel you're important more than them, you cannot put other people down. So whenever you trust yourself, you will know exactly how does it feel to be pulled down. So when you understand yourself, when you know yourself, you cannot put other people down. Self-esteem. Now, on this point of self-esteem, let us try to read two stories here so that we can look at the people who have a high self-esteem. It means those who trust themselves no matter what, those who believe in themselves no matter what. And then again we're going to look at the second story, that will be the people who doubt themselves, the people who don't have a high self-esteem but instead low self-esteem. When we look at the self-esteem, there is some pulling down factors that can come from the actions of other people or what they utter with their mouth. So it is important to speak positive things to other people. If you don't like other people to speak negative things in your life, that can demoralize you, that can pull you down. So start speaking positive words unto the people. Now let's look at our first story. Let's read it. The heading of our story is "The Beggar Became a Businessman." Let's read. A beggar was sitting at a train station with a barrel full of pencils. A young executive passed by and dropped $1 in a barrel. He then boarded the train. Before the doors closed, something came to his mind and he went back to the beggar, grabbed the bunch of pencils and said, "They are priced right? After all, you are a business person. So am I." And he left. 6 months later, executive attended a party. The beggar was also there in a suit and a tie. The beggar recognized the executive, went up to him and said, "You probably don't recognize me, but I remember you." He then narrated the incident that happened 6 months before. The executive said, "Now that you have reminded me, I do recall that you were begging. What are you doing here in a suit and a tie?" The beggar replied, "Probably don't know what you did for me that day. Probably you don't know what you did for me that day. You were the first person in my life who gave me back my dignity. You grabbed the bunch of pencils and said, 'They are priced right. After all, I am a business person.' After you left, I thought to myself, what am I doing here? Why am I begging? I decided to do something constructive with my life. I packed my bag, started working, and here am I. I just want to thank you for giving me back my dignity. That incident changed my life." And the question will be after that, what changed beggar's life? Here in this story, we find someone who speak positive words unto someone that the people are passengers thinking that he is nobody. but only one person believed in him. So he spoke positive words and said, you are a business person. And that little incident is the one that changed the beggar's life. What incident? Listening and hearing the positive words that came from such an important person in society, such a rich man in society. He said, I am a business person, so you are a business person. And those words, they fall into the beggar's heart as an encouragement. He started doing something constructive of his life after the executive left him. So it is important to speak positive words to the people so that they can do constructive things with their lives. Most of the people, they are what they are today because of what the people said unto them. It has a power in it that a person speak. Only if you believe in that, it has power, it will work. Now the beggar here believed in what the executive just said. You are a business person. Then he grabbed and hold onto that he cannot beg forever. He must do something constructive with his life. Then he started to pack his bag and started to do constructive things with his life. Because of what? The executive who spoke positive words unto him. Now, the trust that the people has is developed by other people. What they say unto them, what they say about them. Once they hear that, it's either they can pull them up or pull them down. So it is important to mark our words when we speak with people so that we cannot in our life demoralize so many people in our society. We have the world that is upside down today because of people who cannot even mind what they are saying to other people. So it is important. If ever you don't want other words to be uttered unto you, don't ever say those words to other people. Because if ever you don't empathize with people, it means you will always pull other people down. When I talk about empathy, we are talking about understanding someone's world as he or she experiences it. That means putting yourself into the shoes of someone who is suffering something or who is undergoing something. Once you put yourself in the shoes of that person, you will understand how does the person feel in that situation. You cannot mock that person. You cannot make funny of him or her. It is important to speak positive so that we can put the trust unto the person. We can restore back the dignity of the people. It is important for us not only to believe in ourselves, but believe in other people, picking them up. That will save our nation. Now, here we see someone who spoke positive words to change another person's life. Let's go to another story. Now, our short second story, it is written like this. The heading of it is, they put on the mask. You know the mask. We are coming from 2020, whereby it was compelled in each and every country for the people to wear the mask. So the heading here is, they put on the mask. In this concept, the mask is something that shades the face of the person so that you cannot identify who they really are. Let's read the story. A young executive with poor self-esteem was promoted, but he could not reconcile himself to his new office and position. There was a knock at his door. To show how important and busy he was, he picked up the phone and then asked the visitor to come in. As the man waited for the executive kept talking on the phone, nodding and saying, "No problem, I can handle that." After a few minutes, he hung up the phone and asked the visitor, "How can I help you?" Then the man replied, "Sir, I am here to connect your phone." Now, let's look at they put on the mask. In this story here, we see someone entrusting one of the employees. They promoted one of the employees to be executive. He was given the office and he felt very important. And unfortunately, in this instance, this person, once he found a new position, he saw a chance of pulling other people down, of oppressing other people because of the importance that he thinks he is at. That level made him to be something else that he don't even understand himself. He wanted to be very, very important amongst the people so that the people can look at him and try to applaud him and try to uplift him as important than other people. And that itself, we call it a very low self-esteem, a poor self-esteem. When you put the other people down because of your position or what you are in society or at workplace anywhere, it means you have a very low self-esteem. You feel better if you have put other people down, or you feel better when the people are afraid of you. That is a totally low self-esteem. Now, in this story here, the company promoted someone, gave him an office, probably in everywhere. When you go to each and every department, each and every store, each and every business, you find the managers. And always the managers are doing something that is common all over here. They are always on the phone. Probably this person has had that experience of going everywhere and saw that the managers are always talking on the phone in their offices. Now, this is his chance. He got the work. He was promoted to be the manager of the company. Now he started feeling important more than other people. What he did, this day, he was in his office and someone knocked at the door and he said, "Come in." Then the man came inside. Then he started picking up the phone and talking in the phone. And remember this, for you to speak in the phone, for you to have a communication on the phone, two things supposed to happen. Number one, the phone supposed to ring so that you can communicate with another person. In this instance, the phone didn't ring. Number two, you need to dial the numbers on the phone so that you can speak with another person at another side. That is two incidents. It's either the phone ring, you speak with someone, or rather you dial the numbers to speak with someone. In this case, those two things, they never happen. So how can you speak with the phone? How can you communicate with the phone if the phone didn't ring? If you didn't dial up the numbers to talk with someone else, how can you communicate on the phone? The phone didn't even ring. He didn't dial the number. He just came, he said, "Come in." Then the man came inside the office and he picked up the phone while this man standing here. And he spoke he took a long time. He spent a lot of time speaking on the phone with another person who don't even exist. That is putting on the mask. You make yourself as if you are busy, but busy with nothing. And whenever you are doing that, you will lose a lot of opportunities. You will never even notice who is around you. At this moment, this executive said, "Come in," and the man came inside the office and he stood there. He made the person to wait for him while he was speaking on the phone. He failed to realize that this person who just came in the office, he is the phone technician. He was called to fix his phone. He knew exactly when he came in this office that his phone is not working. It is him who's going to fix it. But now, once he come inside the office, the executive picked up the phone and talked on the phone for such a long time, while the phone technician is going to fix the phone standing here, patiently, knowing that this phone is not working. I am going to fix it. What's a disgrace? When you put on the mask, you fail to understand, or you fail to see the opportunities around you. You fail to see who is standing beside you. Someone who gonna help you. Someone who gonna pull you out from the pit. When you put on the mask, you stop realizing all those kind of things. Because why? You feel more important than other people. You look down on other people. Probably this person came in his office wearing some workman suit. PPE, we may say. And then once someone is wearing the PPE, we just automatically degrade them. And that is a very wrong idea. And that is putting on the mask, and you will not find the important people around you who want to help you, because you are just acting as if you are busy while you are not. You are acting as if everything is okay while everything is not okay. It is important. Once you have high self-esteem, you trust yourself, it is important to be realistic with yourself. Be real. Be real with your feelings. When you're sad, you are sad. Don't pretend as if you are happy. When you are happy, don't pretend as if you are sad. So it is important to live the feeling at that moment so that you can be helped. Feel the feeling so that you can deal with that feeling. Because once you ignore the feeling, it leaves the sky in your life that will catch up with you in future. So it is important to deal with it now. Don't ignore the feeling, more especially the negative feeling that you have because of the incident or some certain person. So it is important not to put on the mask, to pretend. Don't do that. Now here we see the example of a very poor, low self-esteem. Even for someone who is in that level, who is in that position, high position. But he thought his position can do everything for him. He has a right to put other people down. Once he dropped the phone, he said to this man, "How may I help you?" And the man, politely knowing this, that I am a phone technician, I'm going to fix this phone that the man is keeping talking on it is not working. He politely said, "Sir, I am here to fix your phone." What's a disgrace? What's a disappointment of on this man's face? So let us look at the manifestation of poor self-esteem, there is some things that you need to know as the elements of the poor self-esteem. Let's read through them. Number one, manifestation of low self-esteem. As a heading, number one. Who are those people who have low self-esteem? They are like this. One, they are generally gossip mongers. What are you talking about when we are saying a gossip monger? You see, there is the word gossip, which relate to someone who's doing gossip. We call him a gossiper. But when you become a gossip monger, you are more than the gossiper, because you cannot live without gossiping. So gossiping is like food to your soul. If ever you have to tell people something and you don't tell them, it's like you're sick. You need to relieve yourself. You relieve yourself by what? By going to someone else and gossip about others. Therefore, we call you gossip monger. Same way like these people who are wearing the pink gowns at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, gathering here in Lokshin, in towns, in villages, gossiping about other people. Those we call them the gossip mongers. So once you see someone gossip a lot, you must know that that person has a very poor self-esteem. He or she has a low self-esteem. Why am I saying that? It is because if you have a high self-esteem, you trust yourself, you will talk about yourself, you will promote yourself, you will talk positive things about yourself. That is the sign of a very high self-esteem, the person who trusts themselves. But the people who don't trust themselves, they don't talk about themselves, they talk about other people. Instead, they fail to realize that by so doing, they promote other people. They become the agents of other people. Because what they do, they market other people. Your poor mind is telling you that you are degrading or defaming their characters. But to the matured person's ears, once you say negative things about other people, they will try to verify this and come closer to that person that you gossip about, know them better, and correlate between what you're saying and what they saw in that person's life. But gossip mongers don't do that. Instead, they promote others. They talk about other people. Number two, when you talk about the people who has low self-esteem, how do we see them? Number two, the people who have low self-esteem, they lack balance. What are we talking about when we say they lack balance? If ever you have noticed the tissue paper or the toilet paper, it has the segments. If you can cut that one segment and put it outside the house for only 30 seconds and go back and look at it, you will never find it at one place. Because why? It will be gone by wind. So the people who lack balance are like that, because that segment God does not have balance. So the people who don't have balance, they are just like that. They go whosoever say anything to them about other people. If you have low self-esteem, if I come to you and say negative things about others, the negative things that they said about you, then the next thing is you will be angry, you will intend to hate that person that I've been talking about without even verifying that. The people who lack balance, they don't live for themselves. They live for other people. They do what other people say they must do. They are just acting like the remote control. If someone come and press, they change the channel. They press this button, they change the channel. So the people who lack balance are like that. They don't have resistance. They don't stand their ground. They don't say no. They don't say not me. The people who lack balance are like that. Even in the relationships, they are just like that. If someone say, if you are a lady, someone, for an example, says, you are beautiful. Because of that weight, it's like there is someone who has pressed the button on the remote and changed the channel. You change to what the person said. You feel important, and your eyes automatically, when you look at this one who said you are beautiful, you look at the person in an attractive way. You think that you are important to that person. So the people who lack balance are like that. And another person will say the different weight that will attract your attention and capture your attention. So you will fall into their trap again. And the people again, for men, any woman who will say how handsome you are, how rich you are, and clap hands for your cars, for your houses, for your work, for your positions, you automatically feel that you are loved by that person. Then you fall into evil traps. The people who lack balance are like that. They just go whosoever say anything unto them, they shift their position. But the people who have a high self-esteem, they don't shift their position because of what the others has said unto their lives. Once someone said you are beautiful, they will say, thank you, I know I'm beautiful. My husband has told me that, or my boyfriend has told me that several times, and I know, even if someone don't tell me that, I know I'm beautiful. Thank you. Then you leave. That is positive and high self-esteem. That is the people who trust themselves. And let's look at another manifestation of low self-esteem. How do we see someone has a very low self-esteem? People with low self-esteem are generally difficult to work with. They tear down others to get a feeling of superiority. Once you see the people who tearing others down in order to feel important, you must know that those people has a very low self-esteem, because they are very difficult to work for or very difficult to work with. They feel important when they pull other people down, when they put other people down, when they put down others' character defamation. They feel better and important. They feel good once they have done that. You must know that that kind of person has a very low self-esteem. Another way how you will see that the person has low self-esteem is they are close-minded and self-centered. If someone say I, myself, self-centered, everything is all about him. All things, they belong to him. All good things, they're supposed to belong to him. They are self-centered. Self-centered people, they say I deserve this. even if they didn't work for it, but they will always say, I deserve it. Matters not how do the other people find it, but they will say, I deserve it. Because they are self-centered. They need everything for themselves. They think this thing, it is better off being mine, not for other people. The people, those kind of people who are self-centered, they cannot share with other people. But strangely, they like other people's possessions. They are angry if other people don't share anything with them. But they don't share with other people. And another way to see the people who has low self-esteem, who don't trust themselves, they are generally jealous by nature. They are jealous by nature. Now there is these two ways that we need to define, which is jealousy and envy. Jealousy means the sense of belonging. That means this thing is mine. I cannot share it with anyone. It's mine. That is jealousy, the sense of belonging. But envy is when someone has an important thing and you wish you can have it, or you can compete to have something better than what he or she has. That is envy. Now the people who has jealousy by nature, they own things. My car, even if you bought it for your family, they're supposed to feel that this is your car. Even if you are the father in that family, the father figure in that family, you will always say, my car. You have a wife, we have children, but my car. Not our car. That is the sense of belonging. That is jealousy. It belongs to me, me alone. Sense of belonging. So the people who have low self-esteem, for them to feel better, they own things. My car, my house. Everything is all about him. Another thing, how do we see the people has a very low self-esteem? They are touchy in nature. This is called the fragile ego. Anytime something is said, a person with a fragile ego takes it personally and gets hurt. It leads to dejection. Once you see someone who takes things very personal, you must know that those people have a very low self-esteem. The people, whenever something is said unto them, automatically they take it personal. It is because those people have a fragile ego. You know, someone who has a fragile ego, to him or to her, a touch is a move. It's like a landmine bomb. Once you lay your foot on it, it will blast. It explodes like nobody else's business. The people who has a fragile ego, they are like that. You must know those kind of people, they have low self-esteem. They don't trust themselves. So it is important to have a high self-esteem, to trust yourself. So another way to see the people who has a very low self-esteem, how do we see them? they are unwilling to accept positive criticism. They become defensive. Whenever you see someone who's not willing to take a positive criticism, or those people who always defend themselves, even if they know exactly I did that, and they defend themselves to that extent, you must know they have very low self-esteem. The people who has low self-esteem, they are unwilling to accept a positive criticism. They always take everything personal. They always defend themselves. They never said, I'm sorry I have done it. They never apologize. The people who have low self-esteem, they don't apologize. For them to feel better is to be rude. For them to feel better is to defend themselves. Always they see as someone talking something unto them as an attack. Once you see someone who always take things personally as an attack when they are getting corrected, you must know that they have very low self-esteem. But the people who accept correction, they have a positive or a high self-esteem. So these are the manifestation of the people who has a very low self-esteem. And again, they constantly make excuses, always justify failures. When they fail to do something, they justify it. This happens because they always have reasons. Why? You ask the person, why have you done this? I have done this because you have done it. I have done this because someone else has done that. I have done this because I was paying revenge unto that. I cannot let him do that such a thing and just let him go. That is a very low self-esteem. Very low self-esteem. They always have excuses. They justify the failures. Fail to do something, justify it. The people who have low self-esteem, they are bored and uncomfortable when alone. The people who have a very low self-esteem, they are always bored when they are alone. If you hear someone always say, I am bored, I am bored, I am all the time, someone when he or she is alone is bored, you must know that that person has a very low self-esteem. You cannot stand even yourself. You cannot have time to yourself. You know, having time of self is, in a business language, is called stock taking. But in this instance, we are saying introspection. You're looking at yourself, all the strong points and all your weak points, and you assess your day and you assess your past. Someone who cannot assess their past and get harmony with them, they have a very low self-esteem. There is people who has a negative attitude towards the past. They don't even want to talk about them. And that thing itself, it shows that you have a low self-esteem. Your past has made you, has built you, has made you who you are. Whether they are positive past or the negative past. Positive past, you should learn to celebrate them. The negative past, you should learn to upgrade on them. You cannot fix them because you are not living in the past. But you can always upgrade and build, and so that you cannot go back to that situation again. So it is important to have a very high self-esteem, to trust yourself. It's very, very important. Trust yourself and live a better life. Let's see each other when we are doing another topic where we are still on this journey of self-discovery. Our next topic will be the self-concept. Till we meet again,
And if
Shalom.
with me in all my paths, I can then make it possible for all of me to work in my best interest. I know there are aspects about myself that puzzle me.